My name is Norma Sax, and I moved to Oregon from Philadelphia in 1976. No, I was going to graduate school at the U of O. I barely heard of Oregon before, but I just wanted to get away from the big city in Philadelphia and wanted to be someplace with a lot of trees, and so here I am. I didn't last too long in graduate school, but I lasted a long time here. Well, I moved here in September of '76, and I started working with Whitebird right away because I worked at a free clinic in Philadelphia, so going to Whitebird was very familiar to me. And so I heard about the fair all year from being at Whitebird, and finally went when it was at the end of June back then, and I just felt totally at home, and like, yeah, this is just what I maybe imagined, and worked with Whitebird and did crisis counseling here. So I was here for one day, I think, and then I think I wasn't there the next day, and then came back on Sunday. So I've never snuck in, I've never paid to get in. I've always been a worker here, and it's always just felt like home. And it was a lot smaller then in area and number of people that were here. So I've watched it grow over a lot of years. Of course, physically we have a lot more space, and there are a lot more people here. We have a lot more stages, a lot more people come to the fair. And there are a lot more generations here. You know, when I first started coming, it was one generation, then little kids, but and then those little kids got to be teenagers, and now they're parents, and so the family part of it has really grown, as well as the people who come and buy tickets and just enjoy it for a day or so. And of course, we have a lot more room. We have more camping space. We have more areas for entertainment, more stages, more educational areas. Security, I think, is tighter. There's a lot more rules and guidelines now than there used to be. And that's a natural thing when you have a great population growth. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think we have a more diversity of people that come to the fair. I think it used to be what people still think of it as hippie Disneyland. And now I think we're more family oriented than maybe we used to be. There's a lot more for kids to do. And we focus on children a lot more than we used to. Besides the child care areas, there's Chalamela, there's tons of things for kids there. The new area, the Xanadu, has lots of things for kids, and there's this and that all over the place. So it's pretty heavenly for kids, I'll bet. Because I don't have one, but you know, I think it is. Another thing is that we have a much more solid, friendly, working together, being together relationship with the area, with the neighborhood, with the Veneta area. We have a much more compatible and interdependent relationship with them. A lot of our neighbors have campgrounds, which is really extremely helpful to us and certainly bolsters their economy. I'm sure Ray's does a terrific business. We participate in their community events. Our philanthropy is, a lot of it is focused on the Veneta area. The Vision Fund, or well, not the Vision Fund so much, but the Endowment Fund is all focused on the Veneta area. We do the highway pickup. We started the neighborhood response team, which works with the neighborhood during the fair to alleviate any problems, to address any problems like trespassers or the traffic on problems. So I think that we have, and that's thanks a lot to Leslie Scott, she was really instrumental in cultivating a really positive relationship with our neighbors. So I give lots of kudos to Leslie for that. Yeah. For me personally, I used to dance at the drum tower a lot. I still stop and dance at the drum tower all the time. So that was more casual. I worked in Community Village for a number of years, and I produced the Village Vision with Michael Connolly and other folks, and we'd go around every morning and give them out to the booths, and that was always really fun. And some of the bands at the Mithrander and Wheatfield, those old bands that were main stage, and there was lots of room to dance at main stage then. All the vaudeville, geez, you know, I don't think I would have seen vaudeville shows if it weren't for the fair. We really helped reestablish vaudeville. There was the Mud Year in 1983. It's a pretty vivid memory, which who knows, we might have again, looks like. Yeah, gosh, then in '83 it rained pretty heavily, I think on Thursday. And then Friday morning, before the gates were open, everybody, all of us, were out there on the path shoveling mud off the path and throwing it into the camp, because, you know, the woods weren't like neck-to-neck campground yet then. So there was room to just throw your shovel full of mud into the woods. That's one thing we'll never forget. And when we bought the land, that was a kind of huge celebration. That was in '82, '83, I think. Thanks to Robert Despain and a bunch of other people who made that happen. We paid off the land. The first couple of fairs, before my time really, we didn't own this property. We rented it. Actually, it was probably more than a couple. It was 5 or 6 or 7. And then we had a fundraiser. We made a down payment on the land, and a few years later we actually paid the whole thing off, and that was due to a Grateful Dead show and charter memberships and donations from lots of people. So we were, it's ours now. So that meant a whole lot of changes too, because then we had a caretaker, and then we had a general manager, and so we started taking on employees, and that was a big change, of which I am one. So, I'm sorry, I drifted. You asked me about memories of the fair. Gee, so many just relationships that I've established here and connected with people and hanging out with people. And you know, Whitebird was my first base here, and then Community Village for a long time, and then I became an employee. So I have a lot of, you know, main camp memories. Oh, the Brush Babes! I should tell you about the Brush Babes. That was a great memory. That was a pre-fair memory, but a few other women and I used to go around in this ratty old little pickup truck and pick up brush along the way, the week or two before the fair, and put it in a truck and take it out to the burn pile. And we were the Brush Babes, and we had so much fun doing that. It was a lot of hard work, but it was really fun. Reese, Catherine Madden, Sandra Bauer, and myself, and Sally Edmonds. Yeah, we were the Brush Babes from hell. So one of my very fondest memories of the fair. And then doing the newsletter, we started the Fair Family News in 1992, and still going strong. And we met in my living room and started mapping out how we wanted that to be, and went through lots of board meetings to get a budget and get approval. Did lots of samples and templates, and we came up with a newsletter. Our first one was in May of 1992, and we are still happening. And I've been connected to the Fair Family News ever since. Not quite as much as I used to be. Gosh, we would work till late hours at Kinko's, pasting it up before we went all electronic. Way before we went electronic. We would We would manually paste up the newsletter. And then when we moved to Ferry Street, our office on Ferry Street, we had a basement. We had a big art table that David Liberty donated to us that we would do all our paste up and layout on. So those were some really great hard work, fun times too. So a lot of my fair experience is wrapped up in hard work, but really fun hard work. I wouldn't have traded it for anything. I just loved it all. And then during the fair, I usually got to play a lot because I worked the rest of the year, so I got to play during the fair. Our 50th is coming up pretty soon, in just a few years, and so I hope that we have a wild, huge celebration for that. And I would love to see us change and grow, but not too much. I would love to see us, and I think that we do this because the younger people have a different culture than we older folks, and that's of course true through life, through millennium and the whole world. And so I want to see us be able to include the culture of the younger people, whatever that is, hip hop, rap. I'm 71. I don't know what the culture of young people is anymore. But whatever it is, to incorporate that with our history, with our tradition, with our heritage, and have the younger people carry it on. I'm so excited and so enthused because I see a lot of people who've grown up with the fair carrying it on, taking on leadership roles, being coordinators, being crew members, having booths. So I'm confident, I'm optimistic that the fair is going to go on for a long time. My vision for the fair is a blend of cultures, a blend of all kinds of cultures, not just age cultures, not just the elders and those of us who established, the counterculture part of the fair, but also the younger people and what they bring, but also other ethnic cultures, different countries, different. I want to see that all blended in the fair, so that we're a mixture of lots of traditions and lots of cultures, and that we're welcome to everybody, and that everybody can participate and feel at home and feel that their traditions are represented here, and what's important to them is represented here. So proud of us. And I think my favorite sign here is "Thank you for being us." And I'm so grateful to be part of this community, to be part of this culture, and have contributed to this tradition. I'm gratified, so gratified to be Fair Family. And I want us to be as inclusive as we possibly can. And I love this community. I love what we've built. I love what we're keeping going. And I thank each and every one of you for allowing me to be part of this family and this community.